Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Career Banter. Like you very well know, here on Career Banter, I'll bring you the best of conversations around business, career development, self-development, and everything really that affects us as young adults who are trying to make our way in the world. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking startups. And our guest is the CEO of Bridge, a startup that has raised over $500,000 in funding, and they are currently redefining how trade is done across countries in Africa. You see, I'm really excited because in this episode, we're going to be talking through startups, co-founders, finding the right co-founders, raising funds, the pressure from investors even, and how it all affects the grand scheme of building as a founder. And I can't wait for you guys to join me as we learn from Nathan. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Career Banter. This is episode 5, and I have here with me one of my leaders. I have Mr. Nathan, founder of Bridge. Nathan, just give us like a very brief introduction of yourself.
Hello, guys. My name is Nathan Kosisochukwu. I'm the Chief Errand Officer.
CEO, for those who want the interpretation.
Chief Errand Officer for Bridge. And this is usually what I use when I sign out. So if I send you an email now, you would say Chief Errand Officer. Because I like to look at it like if you do not have like multiple executives, maybe you're just an errand guy for now. If you're not chief executive of anything, if there are no other executives, so I just use chief
Okay.
errand. But it's just something to just keep you
grounded.
very grounded.
Yeah.
Like, CEO guy. You are well, just keep it simple. Like you're still just running around. Today your operations guy, tomorrow your sales, next week your biz dev.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about building a startup in Nigeria and just the challenges, hurdles, and early phase everything. As you can already hear, Chief Errand Officer, it means this company is in the phase where the CEO is the errand boy. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about startups and all you need to know about, the early phases of startups. And the person I have here is best suited for this topic because he currently runs a startup in Nigeria and has his co-founders. They're doing a lot of great stuff. I'm going to talk about that.
Bridge helps importers and exporters trade across Africa.
Right.
I think that encompasses. So when you're thinking of trade, you're then thinking of payments, you're thinking of sourcing, you're thinking of procurement, you're thinking of logistics in between. So we bridge those gaps as far as trade is concerned. I think that
not just payments.
Yes, not just
payments.
logistics. So that covers. So we do not have those. So in terms of we now go into like in-depth conversations. We're not ones handling the logistics in itself. So we have logistics partners. But yeah, in a way, that's what Bridge is. We help importers and exporters that are looking to trade across Africa and more recently across the globe.
Right.
To access larger markets, make payments, collect payments, access logistic partners and things of that regard. Yeah.
This episode in particular is personal for me because I have been I run a 3D rendering company. We're a service-based company. What Nathan does is product-based, and I've been trying to get to a large degree.
Yeah, to a large degree.
And, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, right? I know that fundraising for service-based companies is not as direct or as seamless as product-based companies because you can scale faster with a product. You can scale without necessarily scaling manpower.
Yeah.
Yes, but with my company, for example, more clients means more hours in many cases, unless you are now increasing your rates astronomically. So I've been mentally trying to come into the space of, product-based startups and businesses and how to basically break into all of that, or at least be in the mental headspace to understand it and to be able to ideate in that regard. So a lot of my questions are personal. Basically, my fans, I have my note and my jotter right here to jot things down. The early phase of Bridge, right? How did it all come about? I mean, everybody has great ideas, so I'm asking about how the idea came about, but more importantly, how you were able to now get the idea together, get the company together, get your founders together, and get funding. Very important, to get things going. I'm sorry, I packed many questions in one.
Okay, so I think I'll just maybe take 2 years back first before Bridge.
Okay.
So before we started like the whole Bridge concept, I used to import and export across Nigeria and mostly Western and Eastern Africa.
Okay.
So think of Morocco, Kenya, Egypt, Tanzania, right. Uganda. So I actively did the service business. So I would go into the farms, go to like agri-commodities.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask what you export. So
agri-commodity products, and then I imported also agri-commodity products, but more on the finished side. So that was one of the things I did like in the last 4 or 5 years. So I would say Bridge was born out of the problems that I faced doing that.
Right.
So, and that's why I don't always like to put myself in that cross-border payment space, because I know that for SMBs that are importing and exporting across Africa and even the world now, there's more to importing and exporting than just payments. Payment is a very big factor, but I think if
that's not all that
that's not all that goes into it. And more recently, some of the things that we've seen from our customers would be even understanding like what are the things I can sell. For instance, like we had a seminar in Onitsha, and then most persons who had like the noodles and all this other stuff didn't know that it was a big market in countries like Ivory Coast or countries like in Cameroon and stuff like that. Yeah, so we are now also like layering like education on top of all we are doing to say there's a lot you can do as an exporter within the intra-Africa space.
I have a lot of ideas too. So question, how did your journey going from the ideation to decide, okay, I want to make a company out of this, who do I need, so how did all of that now start materializing?
So this is what I like to say, right? Life is lived in the present, but experienced in the past. When I sit down here and I can almost tell you like, okay, so I thought of it this way and I did that, but that won't be a lie.
Sense. I like what you just said now makes perfect sense.
That would be a lie.
In that moment, you didn't have it figured out. You didn't think today in April you're going to have done X, Y, Z, right? It was just a step at a time. I know your founding team. This is privileged information, guys. But I know your founding team is made up of people from all over the world. Yes. How many founders in total?
Core founders were just 2.
Okay.
But we have like other, founding member.
Right.
Not like a founder, but like
the other co-founder is what nationality?
He's Nigerian, but he's based in Brazil.
Okay, great. So
yes, he's based in Brazil.
How did that connection come about? How did you decide that, okay, so this person I'll do this way? That's that process, the execution of it now is where a lot of my questions rest. What
you now know is Bridge of now. Right, the Bridge of the co-founder is in Brazil, but it wasn't all of that. At first, for the first 7-8 months, I was the only founder running Bridge.
Okay.
I just got my co-founder like 6 months ago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I just got my call, the guy that you now know 6 months ago. But before then, I had a co-founder. I had another co-founder. If I had this, yes. So
it's in my head. These things are linear. In my head, these things are very straightforward. I see.
I've had like 2 different co-founders.
And they pulled out of the business.
Yes. So it's not like they pulled out. To be fair to them, more like they pulled out. So one was in Germany. Oh, he's still in Germany, right? At the time I was living in Vienna, Austria. So it was a lot easier for me.
I'm with a well-traveled man.
Yeah. So at the time I was living in Vienna, so it was a lot easier for me to reach out to people that I knew within my circle that were also living in other places, and that was why it wasn't like I woke up and said, oh, I wanted people who were outside, but
right.
Those were the kind of guys that were within my space. I knew they were doing the kind of things that I wanted to do. So I reached out to one of my friends. We went to the same secondary school and we started building all the stuff. But bear in mind that we both didn't have money, right?
Okay.
And for you to live abroad, you also need to pay for your rent, pay for tax, and pay for all of that. Bridge at the time became a side project, a weekend project for him.
Okay.
But that wasn't what it was for me.
Right.
It was a full-time gig. Even though I was out living outside, I didn't have like a 9 to 5.
Okay.
I was doing my importing business and bridge.
Okay.
Right. At the time, I was still doing my PhD, so it made sense that I wanted to get someone who would take the company as serious as I took it,
right,
or can bring funds for us to then get people who help us do the work that needed to be done. Yeah. So that was just it. So it was just more or less like, from what I see, Bridge isn't there yet to pay you like the funds that can keep you in Germany at the time, and that alignment and everything was like great. So we said, okay, fine, let's keep it pushing. But we're still friends. We're still friends to this day. And then I moved on to another friend. He's based in the US, and he was also technical. He has built stuff for the likes of really payment, not to mention names, but great companies that are doing payments globally, not just in Africa, but global payment solutions. So we got off. But again, like I said, if someone who has built platforms for global companies and not based in Nigeria, they're based out of the US, there are certain expectations, payments and what was on the table. And it's a lot harder if it wasn't like both of you got the idea at the same time and then thought to build this.
Yeah, this is.
If you're trying to sell the idea to someone,
and then you're trying to bring a partner on.
So even if you sell this, I'm giving you 20%, I'm giving you 50% of the company. The same. It's not the same. Yeah. Like, we don't have the same motivations and all of that. So yeah. So that was that, and then now my new co-founder.
As at the time when you were trying to get these co-founders on board and going through co-founders,
yes.
You're not yet funded.
Yes.
You were basically running Bridge bootstrapped.
Yes.
Okay. I guess now that is no longer the case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that whole funding journey, how did that go through, or what was the process in that direction?
Going the VC route wasn't something I actively chased.
Okay.
And why I say it wasn't something like actively chased, just the same way I mentioned that I don't like to touch people's money. It was also the same thing with raising venture funds.
Yeah, of course.
At the time, I was always like, I don't really want to go through all of this. I don't want to, be pitching to someone and person doesn't even understand what I'm trying to say or asking me like so many questions. So it wasn't like I was actively like sending out emails and all of that. Sometimes I would be like, okay, we're going to raise this month, or you send out emails now. I won't send anyone emails. So but it so happened that sadly the platform that I got in is actually shutting down now because they're no longer like having that
accelerator.
Yes, the accelerator is live, but the venture studio that powered the length of the vehicle that I got in through, because so for those who don't know, is GenF. So GenF is a venture studio out of 54 Collective. 54 Collective is a venture firm. They used to go by Founders Factory Africa.
Right.
Yeah, so I got in through GenF program. So GenF program is just a venture studio where you pitch your idea and then you co-create the product with the VC firm.
So how did you find out about GenF?
So just on Twitter, right? Someone put it up and said you should apply. I applied the first time, and then I got through I think the third stage or so, and they asked, "Where are you based?" And then I said I was based out of Vienna, and they were like,
I want to do a solution for Africa.
Yeah, for Africa. And they're like, you need to be in Nigeria. So I said, no, I can actually be in Nigeria. I'll be done my program in February, and I'll be back. And they were like, okay, when you're done, let us know.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was done, I sent an email, and then they said, oh, you're done. Okay, let's do it. Let's now hear like what stage you are now, what not. And then I did all of that, and they kept pushing. You're still calling out of Nigeria. Like, when I come to Nigeria, I was like, I'll come back this time. So I kept because I was also. It was also like a chicken and egg problem, right? Because for me,
you needed to make as well.
Yes, because I was like, okay, fine. I'm living my life. Yes, I'm living my life in Europe. I'm moving back to Nigeria, and you haven't said yes.
You haven't committed to that.
So yeah, if you've committed, I can then say, okay, fine, this is why I'm moving back. So when I moved back, I hope my investors don't say this, but when I moved back, I moved with just 2 of my luggage.
Okay.
So I moved back with this. Yes, I went with the mindset that if this was said no, pack your bags and go back.
The bag no plenty, just 2.
Just pack your bags. Just pack your bags. So when I moved back in June last year, so went through all that process. It was an exciting stuff. I feel so sad that the program got shut down. But it was so sad for me because I feel like more founders in Nigeria would have loved to benefit from such, because the first 3 months in the program, you get like some funding to go do market research. So it's not just give you money to go and start building out stuff. You get like funding to do just your market research, customer discovery. You are in all day, whether if you even need to travel out of the country, whatever your customers are, right? Go there, speak to them, understand their problems, do all of that for 3 months. And I was like, okay.
One extra month of
just waiting.
Just waiting.
Just waiting for a yes or a no. It could easily be a no, because other founders that went through the same program that I did, some of them got a no. And then so I was just asking myself, like, my village people, they just said no.
They can't even say we can come back to their country.
They
so village people will get direct access.
I just like, this was said no. What would have happened would just be like, so I have to like move back my life to move, like go back again. And
that's true, because that's 4th month.
Yes.
Tell me about the day you got the email.
A week before, I had almost given up. I was just like, well, why is this people taking this long to say give a yes or a no type of stuff. So the DD rolled around. I wasn't even looking at my emails anymore, because like I said, at this point I was just like, okay, fine, we'll find other things to do, right? So I didn't go through my mails. Not later in the day, I got a text. Someone, one of the venture studio ladies sent me a text and said, "Oh, Nathan, congratulations! How far now? We'll go. When you go, like more or less like." When are you going to celebrate, kind of stuff?
Sure,
and I was like,
she's Nigerian.
Yeah, she's Nigerian. I was like, celebrate, okay. What's happening? She was like, I was sending you a mail since morning.
Oh.
I was like, I never check my mail. Wait, so I now ran. I just cut the call. Went to my email, saw the whole, congratulations. We're moving on to the next stage, sending your details, founder stuff, and all of that. Yeah, I also wanted to know that even after I got that mail, it still took a month
before the funds.
More than a month before the funds came in. And that was another time of waiting and doing all of that. But yeah, but
at that point, it was already sure, kind of.
Me, I'm sorry, but I have a policy that until I say it in my bank,
fair enough.
We're not
game yet.
No. I have to look at my bank. I'm like, okay, this is now here, man.
An Igbo man, true and true.
Yeah. So when I got the mail, I was excited. I was so happy. I was just like, thank you, Jesus. Because then I used to like, I even think like God will be angry with me now, because then
you bombard the gates of heaven.
What?
You rush the gates of heaven.
Morning I'm like, my angel, I know like right now my angel is waiting for me to have more problems like that, so I can come back to the throne of grace.
Still not enjoying his break because this bro stressed me.
Because I was here, I was in Nigeria, like, and then everything was so expensive. I was just like, God, waiting I could tell my people, say I left, and I even said most of my family members, I couldn't see them because I didn't have words to explain what why I came back here. For. Yes. When everybody want to go, they come back. Thursday one they build startup.
All light from him, I hear what you talk. You say waiting.
When I get the video, I would really love to share that to them so that they understand why it felt like I got back and I wasn't seeing anyone.
Some people's perception of the situation or this whole startup thing is the moment you raise funds, done. You don't land, you don't hammer. So now build quietly, build in peace, that kind of thing. Yeah. But is that the case? Was it?
No.
I like as think
Nah.
You don't think the answer? The now
No.
The
Because
now came out straight.
I'm in it. You will suffer. So I think I wouldn't say, because right now I can say, where you are, you always feel like if you were somewhere else, it would be a lot easier.
Okay.
I think
yes,
it's just
yes.
I
I
think
think
it's just
that's a universal thing, a
thing,
human
life,
thing.
human thing, right? So, so when I say this, maybe someone who has done more should come in and also like give their own rebuttals. But I would think that for you to say that, okay, you are in a good space, you really need to raise a significant amount of funds.
Fair enough.
Especially in this country, one, you need to pay people well.
Do you want to share how much you raised?
No.
Okay.
I can't share how much I raised,
Yeah,
but
sure.
it's within $500,000 within
Okay.
that ballpark. Because
Fair
for some of us who had 0 naira, we felt like if we raised 500k,
don't do all right.
what's that?
We'll call the building.
I go build give you now. But yeah, there's also pressure that VC firms bring that even without saying it, like in the meetings that you come into, and then it feels
You
like
realize
you're
you
not
need to provide
doing
results.
so well. Yeah. So and it's not like a 1x growth. Everyone is thinking 10x.
What piece of advice would you want to just give in that regard to founders basically who are already building something but they don't have the funding yet? Because I think that is one very important aspect of the entire, puzzle.
Okay. So what I would have said first before I even go to advise people who are already building, you that want to start building, run away. Run away.
Run away. Run away.
I think if you've caught the bug, you've caught the bug. There's really nothing else you can do.
Right.
If you're a founder, you're a founder through and through. You just have to build something, right? So for those that are currently building, I would say 2 things. You need to really ask yourself like questions to say, do I really want to raise money? Do I want to build a startup that is bootstrapped or is using grants, funds to do the things that I need to do, but I'm not playing the VC game. If you're doing such a project or building such product, then you need to align your growth metrics across what VCs are looking for. Because at the end of the day, it's not free money.
True, of course.
It's not because you're a fine boy. It's because when they're giving you that money, they're hoping that if they give you $5,000 today, in 5 years' time, you are returning to 50 million. So you have to have that at the back of your mind that this is not doing this because they too like. No, it's not because they too like me. Nobody say no, but obviously there's a love factor with, because they're investing in you at the end of the day. Especially if you're like early stages, they're still investing in you, so they have to like you. But what I'm trying to say there is that it's not just because of you, but it's because they see that if I invest in this person can give me like astronomical returns on this investment. So bear that in mind, and also get VC firms or even investors or angel investors or whomever that would look like for you, that you like and that you would want to do this for the long term. Just like marriage, your co-founders are your new partners that you're going to really date and love and do all that and argue
and do life with.
Yeah, so you really need to like them. And then your VC firms are also almost like your external cousins that you don't always have to see them often, but you need to know that they're always there for you when you need them. So that's just how you have to approach that.
Thank you very much, Chief Errand Officer of Bridge, Mr. Nathan. This has been a very, very insightful session, and I'm really grateful that you made out the time to come and share, out of the abundance of your knowledge with us, the Career Banter audience. I met Nathan like late last year, and it was such a random meeting. Again, this life, you don't know who you are meeting, you don't know who you are networking with. But yeah, we met at an estate function thing, and someone introduced us, and it's been great since. And I've been closely following his work. Thank you so much, Nathan. I really, really appreciate your time, and we look forward to having you again on the show. Maybe this time we're talking about how to do a seed round. Well, by then you go down to your seed, So
yeah, that would be nice. Thank you so much for
thank you so much as well. To everyone watching, this brings us to the end of episode 5, and thank you for sticking around. As usual, we try to bring career, business development, and all things growth content here. So feel free to leave us a comment. Let us know what we're doing right, what we need to do differently, and what other conversations you'd like to hear us have. But yeah, until the next video, peace.